Ah, the gates of Slavic mythology are opening. Do you hear that? The winds from afar are whispering the legends of ancient times. Picture me as a wise storyteller sitting by the fire, sharing tales with those gathered around. Today I'm going to take you to distant lands ruled by gods and giants, where thunder and lightning reign supreme. We're stepping into the magical world of Slavic mythology. In the beginning, everything was so chaotic. When people saw the lightning, they wondered about its source. Was it the work of a god sitting atop the high mountains, or a being emerging from the depths of the underworld? The stories of the heroes and gods waiting for us start right here. Perun, the ruler of the sky and the lord of thunder, is known as the symbol of justice and power. Each flash of lightning is an expression of his wrath. He sits on his throne like a king, wielding his lightning bolts and waging relentless war against his enemies. But he's not alone in this tale. In the dark depths of the underworld, the god of water and earth, Veles, waits. He is the protector of fertility and wisdom, but also Perun's eternal rival. Their endless struggle shapes the cycles of nature and the balance of the universe. The fall of lightning from the sky leads to the earth's renewal. As we open the doors to this mythological world, we are greeted by the epic of these two opposing gods. And you know this is just the beginning. As we delve deeper, we'll see the traces of this ancient battle that stretches from Perun's reign in the skies to Veles' kingdom in the underworld. While Perun hurls his lightning, Veles' power underground brings blessings and knowledge to the people. But this war doesn't just shape the gods, it determines the fate of humans as well. So sit back and listen, because this is the spark of a story you won't forget. In ancient times, the world was so different from what it is today. The sky was covered with clouds, and the forests were dense and deep. People lived in the heart of nature, feeling every moment that they were a part of it. The lives of the Slavic tribes were shaped within this nature. Every tree, every river, and the whispers of every wind were fundamental to their beliefs. Nature wasn't just a place to live, it was a sacred power that gave them life, protected them, and punished them. The sky, the underworld, and the earth, each filled with its own gods and spirits, connected in three realms. The early Slavic tribes had a deep connection to the spirits of nature. For them, every tree had a spirit, and every stone held a wisdom. The world of spirits lay at the heart of their belief system. Here, shamans were considered the protectors and guides of the tribes. Shamans served as a bridge between the world and the realm of spirits. With the wisdom of their ancestors in their hearts, these shamans healed illnesses, calmed the wrath of spirits, and called upon the powers of nature to protect their tribes. Their words weren't just words, they were part of a covenant with the spirits. When a shaman closed their eyes and played the drum, they seemed to glide into the realm of spirits like leaves dancing with the wind. And what about the spirits? In Slavic mythology, nature spirits were considered beings that could intervene in the world at any moment. Each was a part of nature, and their influence on the world was enormous. Spirits living deep in the forest could protect or harm the villages. Listen to the sound of the wind. Within that wind, a spirit, a message may be hidden. That's why the Slavic tribes saw nature as both a friend and an enemy. Living in harmony with nature was their greatest aspiration. The roots of Slavic mythology lie right here, in this nature-based belief system. Every day, the sunrise and sunset, the sound of the wind and thunder. All of these were signs from the gods. The gods' wrath or mercy was intertwined with nature itself. And this belief system not only provided them guidance about the world they lived in, but also helped them make sense of their lives. Don't forget, these shamans were not just seers of the future, they were also those who possessed deep knowledge of the past, spirits, and nature. They were wise individuals who heard the whispers of the gods and conveyed that wisdom to people. In the darkness of the night, the stories told by shamans around the fire were etched into the souls of the Slavs, because every story was a key that opened the door to the world of spirits. This is the origin of a belief world that emerges from the depths of Slavic mythology. The sky, the earth, and the realm of spirits, all intertwined, living alongside humanity. And the wisdom of the shamans sits right at the heart of this story, just like you are hearing the whispers of the spirits as you listen to me now. Ah, Perun, the mighty god of Slavic mythology, thundering in the skies, speaking with lightning, and echoing across the battlefields. When his name is mentioned, the heavens tremble, and the leaves of the trees dance in the wind. Perun was a god who held great weight not only in the skies but also in the hearts of the people. He was the protector of both war and justice, piercing through his enemies with lightning, inspiring the courage of warriors, and reigning like a king in the heavens. Perun's power held a deep significance in the lives of the Slavic people. Every time lightning struck, and every rumble of thunder, they felt his presence. The thunder was his voice, and lightning was his weapon. He was a god who guarded the skies and distributed justice on earth. This celestial connection showed that Perun was deeply tied not only to weather phenomena, but also to the spiritual world of the people. Like a storm, he would arrive suddenly, shaking the entire world and restoring order. Slavic warriors would invoke Perun's name as they marched into battle, because he was not just the god of the skies, but also of wars. He granted strength and courage to warriors, encouraging them to stand firm against their enemies. For the ancient Slavs, every battlefield was a sacred place where Perun watched over them. He was there in every clash of swords, in every spill of blood. It was even believed that when lightning struck, sparks flew from the tips of their swords. Perun was a leader who inspired warriors, and his power was felt not just in the skies but also on the battlefield. But Perun was not just the god of war, he was also the guardian of justice. He was known among the people for distributing justice, protecting what was right, and harshly punishing those who committed injustices. Whenever his name was mentioned, everyone would sigh in respect, for Perun's justice was equated with the might of the heavens. If injustice occurred in a village, they would call upon Perun for justice. The storms, the lightning, and the thunder all brought justice as a sign from him to his people. His sacred oak tree was as strong and resilient as his justice. Perun's influence on society was profound. People believed in his power and justice, worshipped him, and offered sacrifices. During the festivals held in his honor, fires would be lit, and shamans would invoke Perun's sacred power. In those days, the people would express their gratitude to Perun, the guardian of the skies, for the heavens were entrusted to him. When a storm broke out, instead of fear, they believed that Perun was protecting them. When the lightning lit up the sky, it was thought that he was looking down on the world with his justice. Witnessing Perun's wrath was like hearing the scream of the heavens. If lightning struck a tree, it was considered a sign of his anger. Yet his fury was reserved only for the unjust. Perun was a leader who protected his people, guiding them. With his axe, from the heights of the skies, he instilled fear in his enemies while wielding lightning. And every time lightning flashed, the loyalty of Perun to his people was reminded once more. This is why Perun remains one of the most powerful and respected gods in Slavic mythology, holding a throne in the hearts of many. His power occupies a place in the belief system of the Slavs not just as a god, but as a force that shapes life itself. The lightning that echoes in the skies is a reflection of his eternal existence, and that echo reaches from the depths of time to the present day. Veles, the mysterious and dark god of the underworld, protector of abundance, wealth, and also deception. When his name was mentioned, echoes would arise from the depths of the earth, and shadows would stir. In the face of Perun's rule in the skies, Veles maintained the balance with his dark and mysterious realm. He was not only the god of the underworld but also of fertility, agriculture, and animals. When the land was fertile and the animals thrived, Veles's hand was at work. Under his watchful eye, life would sprout from below the earth and rise to the surface. Veles's dark world was a place where the spirits of the dead roamed and ancient knowledge was hidden. After death, people entered his realm, their souls captured in an endless cycle under his control. Because of this, Veles was not just a god of life but also of death. Death was under his watch, but it wasn't frightening, it was simply part of nature's inevitable cycle. Just like a seed buried in the earth that grows and flourishes, human souls would also reshape in Veles's hands, joining the cycle of nature. Veles was also the god of abundance. People would pray to him when planting their fields and raising their animals. Farmers would offer sacrifices to Veles for the fertility of the land, asking for a rich harvest. He secretly nourished life beneath the earth, allowing seeds to crack open and sprout. He was the guarantee of the cycle under nature, ensuring life continued. Veles's abundance could be felt both underground and in people's daily lives. As the god of agriculture, livestock, and trade, he brought prosperity and wealth to his people. Under his care, the lands flourished, animals multiplied, and people lived in plenty. However, Veles's dark and bountiful world was not always at peace with Perun. In Slavic mythology, there was an endless war between Veles and Perun. Veles would rise from the underworld, aiming for Perun's throne in the skies. Each time, Perun would repel him with lightning, forcing him back to the underground, to his own realm. This battle reflected not just the struggle of gods, but the balance of nature itself. As storms raged in the skies, floods, inundations, and disasters struck the earth. At such times, the people knew they were caught in the midst of this cosmic struggle. This cosmic war also symbolized the changing of the seasons and the cycles of nature. Veles's underworld represented the cold, dark days of winter, while Perun's lightning reflected the warmth and life brought by spring and summer. Every year, Veles's dark world clashed with Perun's bright realm, and this struggle defined the rhythm of nature. Perun would defeat Veles each time, but Veles would never be completely vanquished. He would return every time, establishing a new balance with his underground power. This eternal war was a symbol of nature's continuously renewing cycle, the delicate balance between life and death. The ancient struggle between Veles and Perun held deep meaning for the people. It was not just a battle between two gods, but also a representation of life's balance. Every time lightning struck, people celebrated Perun's victory. But when winter arrived, they knew Veles's dark world was reigning once more. This cosmic balance was a reality the Slavic people both feared and respected. Veles's cunning and deceptive nature also set him apart among the people. He was not just the god of abundance, but also of tricks, lies, and deceit. Merchants would seek his support, knowing that with his intelligence and cunning, they could find success in trade. Veles was a god who knew the hidden secrets of nature, able to manipulate things to his advantage. Because of this, people both revered him and approached him with caution. He could bring blessings and wealth with his friendship, but he could also lead people astray with his deceptive games. Veles, much like the dark depths of the underworld, was a god that was difficult to comprehend and mysterious. But through him, nature remained balanced, creating a constant cycle between life and death. As the master of the underworld, this god shaped life beneath the earth, lying in the shadows, and was one of the most powerful and complex figures in Slavic mythology. The story of Veles takes us deep into both dark and bountiful worlds. Perun and Veles. They were two of the most powerful gods, but they were also complete opposites. Every time these two gods faced off, the balance of the universe would shake, and the earth and sky would challenge each other. This battle wasn't just a clash of two mighty deities, it was an endless struggle between chaos and order, light and darkness, life and death. Each time, this conflict marked moments when the world's order was reshaped. According to legend, Perun was the lord of the skies. His realm was filled with lightning and roaring storms. When he cast his lightning down to the earth, all people feared his power and bowed in respect. After all, Perun was not just the god of war, but also of justice. He was the defender of order and discipline, fighting against evil and maintaining the world's balance. On the other hand, Veles was the master of the dark underworld. Unlike Perun, Veles represented chaos. Cunning, deceptive, and sly, Veles would rise from the underworld to challenge Perun, trying to seize the earth for himself. The confrontation between these two gods wasn't just a battle between the sky and the underworld, it was an uprising of chaos against order. The war between Perun and Veles formed the basis of cosmic order in mythology. Each time, Veles would rise from the underworld, seeking to seize the throne in the skies. According to popular stories, Veles would gather strength beneath the earth for a year, and when the time was right, he would threaten Perun's kingdom with his dark powers. This was often likened to the cold days of winter. The earth would be shrouded in darkness, cold winds would blow, and nature would seem to die. It was believed that during these times, Veles emerged from the underworld to take over the world. However, Perun would never ignore this challenge. The rumbling thunder signaled that Perun was preparing for battle. Every storm was a reflection of this cosmic war. As Perun's lightning struck at Veles, life would begin to awaken in nature. Slowly the snow would melt, life beneath the earth would sprout anew, and the world would start to shake off Veles's dark grip. The arrival of spring would be celebrated as Perun's victory, and nature would declare its revival. But this war would never truly end. No matter how often Veles was defeated, he would always return. Each victory of Perun was just a temporary win. Veles would rise again during the dark days of the year, continuing to challenge Perun. This was an endless cycle between the two gods. This cycle created the rhythm and order of nature. People explained the changing of seasons through the battles of these two gods. The harshness of winter was seen as Veles's attempt to rise from the underworld and seize the earth. The arrival of spring and summer, on the other hand, symbolized Perun's victory over this dark force. This war symbolized not just the change of seasons, but also the balance in people's lives. The struggle between Perun and Veles showed that good and evil, chaos and order, were interdependent. While Perun represented order and justice, there could be no balance in the world without Veles's existence. As these two forces fought against each other, the world's order took shape, maintaining the delicate line between life and death. In Slavic mythology, this legend was also seen as a reflection of kings and leaders. A king should be just, strong, and resolute like Perun, but he must also always be prepared for Veles's cunning and deceit. Kings were viewed as the earthly representatives of this cosmic battle. If a king grew weak, Veles's dark powers would plunge the kingdom into chaos, just as he would rise from the underworld. The battle between Perun and Veles symbolized a balance fundamental not just to nature but also to human life. This endless struggle between order and chaos, life and death, light and darkness, had a deep impact on people's daily lives. This legend illustrated how cosmic order functioned in Slavic belief systems, shaping the cycles of nature, the changing of seasons, and even moral order in society. These two gods kept the world balanced by constantly clashing with one another. The reflections of this endless war could be seen in every storm, every rain, every harsh winter, and every fresh spring. People celebrated Perun's victories when his lightning struck, but they also knew that Veles's dark powers could never be completely eradicated. That's why the war between Perun and Veles, one of the oldest and most powerful legends in Slavic mythology, echoed in the skies and in the hearts of the people. This endless cycle represented a struggle not just between the gods, but also within every human being. The light overcoming the darkness, but the darkness never fully disappearing. This reminds us of the deepest meaning of life and the cycle of existence. Ah, the spirits of nature. There was such a strong and deep bond between people and nature. For the Slavic peoples, forests, rivers, and mountains weren't just elements of nature. They were living, breathing entities with their own will. Behind every tree, every spring, and every animal, there were unseen but felt spirits. These spirits were some of the most ancient and mysterious beings in Slavic mythology. Close your eyes and imagine you're deep within a forest. The rustling leaves, the chirping birds, the wind flowing between the trees. With every step, you hear a whisper from ancient times. This is the voice of the nature spirits. They are everywhere, just like the Leshy who wanders through the depths of the forest. The Leshy is the guardian of the woods. When people enter the forest, they can't leave without the Leshy's permission. If they show disrespect, they can lose their way and get lost in the endless shadows of the deep woods. The friendship of the Leshy is the key to life in the forest. Being friend with it means learning the secrets of the woods. But to go against it means to invoke the wrath of nature. And let's not forget the spirits of rivers and lakes. These water spirits, known as rusalka, live in the depths of the rivers. They're often depicted as beautiful women, but be careful. Behind their beauty lies a dangerous power. Anyone who mocks them and draws their wrath might never come back from the water. Rusalka symbolizes both the beauty and danger of nature. Just like the flow of rivers beneath a calm surface, there are strong currents. However, nature spirits are not just limited to forests and rivers. In Slavic mythology, everything has a spirit, even homes. The domovoi are spirits that protect people's homes. They quietly roam inside the house, ensuring their owner's peace. If the homeowners show them respect, the domovoi fills the house with prosperity. But if they are forgotten, things can go wrong, and unrest might settle in the home. The domovoi were a part of daily life. They were hidden friends who protected the homes of the Slavic people, guarding their families. And of course, animals. In Slavic mythology, animals weren't just a part of nature, they were sacred beings connected to gods and spirits. Especially animals like bears and wolves were seen as representatives of the gods on earth. The bear symbolized strength, courage, and the wild side of nature. Its hibernation and awakening in spring represented the cycle of life. Bears were considered a close symbol of Perun. Just like Perun's lightning, the bear was also thought to represent the power of nature. Its roar echoed like thunder in the depths of the forest. The wolf told a different story. The wolf, sacred to Veles, symbolized cunning, intelligence, and freedom. Wolves, much like Veles, were dark and mysterious. They silently stalked their prey, striking at the perfect moment. That's why the Slavic people both admired and feared wolves. The wolf was a reflection of Veles' mysterious, dangerous, yet wise and free. The Slavs were a people living in harmony with nature. With every step they took, every breath they took, they connected with the spirits of nature. For them, the world was a place blessed by gods and spirits. Every tree, every animal, every breeze carried a message from the gods. And these messages reminded them of the balance of nature, the rhythm of life, and the mystery of death. That's why the Slavic people held a deep respect for the spirits of nature and sacred animals. Nature spirits shaped people's lives and guided them. Leshy, Rusalka, domovoi, and many others. They were the beings that built the bridge between humans and nature. Each of their stories told a different aspect of nature. For the Slavic people, showing respect for nature was equivalent to showing respect for the gods, because nature was a reflection of the gods. The gods manifested their existence in this world through spirits and animals. Anyone who disrupted this sacred balance knew they would face the wrath of the gods. Yes, the nature spirits and animals held a central place in Slavic mythology. In every whisper, in every breeze, you could feel the touch of the gods and spirits. In Slavic mythology, aside from the cosmic battles between Perun and Veles, many other gods and goddesses maintained the balance of the universe and shaped human lives. Each of them was a part of nature with their own powers and characteristics. One of the standout figures among the gods was Svarog. Svarog. He was the mighty god of the sky. People associated him with the blue of the heavens, the sparkle of the stars, and the warmth of fire. Whenever they mentioned his name, they felt a warmth inside them, because Svarog was not just the god of the sky, but also the god of blacksmithing and fire. Svarog's story symbolizes humanity's connection to the universe. It was believed that he created the sky and shaped the stars by hammering them. Every spark that came from his hands contributed to the twinkling of the stars. That's why people held deep respect for blacksmiths and their workshops. A blacksmith was seen as a reflection of Svarog in the world. With his strength, he forged iron, made tools, and controlled fire. In Slavic mythology, fire, like the sky, was a force of both creation and destruction. Svarog combined these two powers, maintained the order of the universe, and shaped the lives of people. But Svarog wasn't the only master of nature. Mokosh, the goddess of the earth who was deeply rooted in the soil, was also a significant figure representing fertility, motherhood, and abundance. Mokosh was associated with the earth, femininity, and the bounty of nature. She was the source of life. When people tilled the land, they always began with her prayers during harvest time. When Mokosh's hand touched the earth, fields would become fruitful, and the soil would be generous. She was also known as the protector of women, guiding them through the cycles of birth and death. Her compassion was as endless as the patience of the earth. Women would seek Mokosh's help during childbirth, or when facing life's hardships, making offerings to her. In every seed planted in the fields and in every child born, there was Mokosh's blessing. Alongside Mokosh, who maintained the balance of nature and the earth, Dashbog shone as the representation of sunlight and life energy. Dashbog was the sun god. While he shone in the sky, people came to life, plants grew, and animals stirred. Dashbog's brightness brought not only physical light but also a spiritual glow. He represented not just the sun but also wisdom and prosperity. People would pray to Dashbog with the first light of dawn, warming themselves in his light and living by his abundance. Under his sun, everything grew, flourished, and thrived. The Slavic people saw Dashbog's light as a gift. Every sunrise reminded them of life's continuity and the protection of the gods. But Dashbog was not just warmth and light. He was also the touch of fate. Just as the sun rises every morning, human lives followed a predetermined path. This path lay in the hands of the gods. Dashbog bestowed hope and a sense of responsibility upon people. Those living under his light had to protect and respect the world. These three gods, Svarog, Mokosh, and Dashbog, were the most important figures shaping the lives of the Slavic people and guiding them. Each represented a different aspect of the universe. Svarog symbolized the sky and fire, Mokosh represented the earth and life, and Dashbog was the emblem of the sun and wisdom. Their powers echoed through the depths of Slavic mythology, guiding the lives of the people. The gods were always present. Their existence could be felt when a star twinkled in the sky, a sprout emerged from the earth, or the sun's light illuminated the horizon. The Slavic people had deep respect for their gods and drew inspiration from them to live intertwined with nature. Each god was part of this ancient belief system, and their stories were passed down through generations as myths that guided people's lives. Therefore, the respect shown to the gods was equivalent to the respect shown to nature, because the gods were the essence of nature. Just as the sun rises every morning, their presence was a constant source of light in people's lives. The Slavic epics. For centuries, these tales have been passed down from generation to generation, filled with stories that resonate deeply with the spirit of the Slavic people. Each epic, each heroic story, is more than just an adventure. Within those tales lie the beliefs, values, and profound connections of the people with their gods. And you know what? These stories reflect not just the mythical heroes, but also the struggles of the people against all odds. Because the Slavic epics represent an endless battle between humanity, nature, the gods, and one's own inner strength. The heroes at the heart of Slavic epics were not ordinary people. They carried fates intertwined with the gods, sometimes being the offspring of a god or valiant warriors who faced them directly. Yet each one was an immortal hero in the eyes of the people. For instance, Ilya Muromets. This name frequently appears in the heroic tales of the Slavic people. Ilya was born weak and sickly. However, one day he was granted divine strength. He was more than just a local hero, he was a figure who brought the thunderous power of Perun down to earth. He was so powerful that the respect the people had for him was equal to their faith in the gods. The might of Perun's thunder was reflected in his sword, while the lightning mirrored his steps. Ilya being seen not only as a hero but also as the protector of the people and the leader of their wars shows just how profound the meanings of these heroic epics are. His struggle wasn't just a personal journey, he was a symbol for his people, a beacon of hope for the Slavs during tough times. Each victory he achieved, aided by the gods, shaped the destiny not just of himself but of all Slavic people. Ilya's tales demonstrate that in times of war, hardship, and peace, the gods were always on the side of the Slavic people. These legends also illustrate that the relationship between the gods and heroes isn't just about power and battle. Some heroes formed friendships with the gods, receiving wisdom and guidance from them. For example, the famous hero Dobrynya Nikitich had a close connection with Veles. The mysterious, magical nature of Veles guided Dobrynya in his adventures. As the god of the underworld, Veles bestowed wisdom and inner strength upon him. Dobrynya used this power not only against his enemies but also to protect his people from the forces of nature and magical creatures. The strength he gained from the gods transformed him from an ordinary man into a legendary figure. The epics often depict moments when heroes confront the gods, fight against them, or seek their help. This connection with the gods sets Slavic heroes apart from characters in other mythologies. In Slavic tales, gods are as close to the world as humans and are just as engaged in the struggle. Even the cosmic battle between Perun and Veles resonates in the world of the heroes, where at times the heroes witness this struggle and at other times they directly participate in it. This relationship shows how interconnected gods and humans are. The gods guide the heroes, supervise them, and sometimes challenge them. But they always cooperate with humans for the order of the universe. The struggles of these heroes encompass not only external enemies but also an inner journey. The Slavic epics tell stories of heroes maturing both physically and spiritually, overcoming their weaknesses. Each hero faces their own darkness. This is often seen in their interactions with underworld gods like Veles. Veles teaches the heroes not only the secrets of the underworld but also the depths of the human spirit. These epics are not just tales of heroism, they are adventures of self-discovery, reconciliation with the gods, and defiance against fate. Each Slavic epic reflects the spirit, culture, and beliefs of the people. This intertwining with the gods strengthens the connection of the Slavic people to nature and the universe. As heroes navigate the world of the gods, the people follow in their footsteps. That's why these legends are not merely stories told in the past but are still alive in the hearts of the Slavic people, uniting and empowering them. hate. The rituals and traditions of the Slavs weren't just religious ceremonies, they were deep, rich practices that were tightly connected to the cycle of life and deeply rooted in the hearts of each member of the community. In these rituals, the connections established with the forces of nature, gods, and ancestors nourished the spirit of the Slavic people. As fields were sown and harvested, every ritual symbolized the blessing of abundance that came from the gods intertwined with the earth. And so, with the changing of the seasons, the ceremonies held at each turning point of the year aimed to maintain the harmony between the people, nature, and the gods. The time of the great harvest was perhaps the most important ritual in the Slavic world. Each year, during the most fruitful period for the land, the crops harvested were not just the result of human labor, but also a sign of the gods' favor. For the Slavic people, expressing gratitude for this blessing was a necessity. Offerings to Veles, the god of abundance, were an expression of gratitude to the gods who watched over the people's labor in his underground kingdom and did not withhold their bounty. It was believed that Veles's power from the underworld rose up from the depths of the earth to bless the crops. Thus, the celebrations held during harvest time were not merely festivities, they were rituals filled with prayers dedicated to Veles. Offerings were made to win the gods' favor, animals were sacrificed, and every seed sown into the earth was seen as a message from the gods. As part of these rituals, the dances, songs, and prayers performed by the people in the fields were like a form of magic. It was believed that every movement, every melody reached the gods. When seeds were sown in the ground, the Slavic people were certain that Perun's thunder would bring rain. Perun would send his lightning from the sky to invigorate the land, delivering rains and aiding the growth of the crops. This belief, at the heart of the rituals, relied on the balance between the powers of Perun and Veles that kept the world in harmony. These abundance rituals weren't just limited to harvests. At different times of the year, especially during the spring and winter solstices, celebrations were held to honor the rebirth of nature and the cyclical order of the gods. The arrival of spring was particularly significant for the goddess Mokosh. Mokosh, representing Mother Earth, was the goddess of fertility and abundance. During spring festivals, the Slavic people celebrated the awakening of the earth, honoring this sacred power that revived their fields. Young girls and women offered sacrifices to Mother Earth and celebrated fertility and abundance through rituals. The symbols of water and earth associated with Mokosh were central to these celebrations. Water was seen as the source of life, while the earth was believed to symbolize abundance. But the rituals weren't just about abundance and harvest. The Slavs held different celebrations based on the cycle of the year. During the winter months, at the longest nights of the year, as the darkest period approached, the people would offer sacrifices to the gods, praying for the return of light and life. Perun's lightning was seen as a guiding light in that darkness, heralding the rebirth of life. The people gathered around the fire, singing songs and dancing to honor the gods with all-night ceremonies. These festivals and rituals not only involved offering sacrifices to the gods but also fostered community unity. Each ritual was a building block that brought the community together, strengthening their shared beliefs. These celebrations expressed the people's gratitude to the gods and their deep respect for the cycles of nature. The rituals also served to strengthen social bonds, promoting solidarity among people. Sharing offerings, eating together, and singing in unison brought the community closer and reinforced their collective devotion to the gods. The offerings made to the gods were also of great importance. Sacrifices offered to Perun were made before wars, while offerings given to Veles aimed to ensure abundance. In many festivals, animals were sacrificed and presented to the gods with prayers. But the most significant part of these rituals was the collective action of the people, expressing their faith in the gods together. The Slavic rituals and traditions were not just rituals of a belief system, they were a way of life for the community. Each ritual progressed in harmony with the natural cycles of the people's lives, strengthening their connections to the gods. Each period of the year was a time when the power of the gods was felt, and abundance, life, and death were blessed. For the Slavic people, these rituals ensured the continuity of their special bond with the gods. And that's why these rituals and festivals were among the fundamental elements that sustained both the spirit and the social structure of the Slavic people. The transition of the Slavs to Christianity was a long and challenging journey. The deep roots of their ancient beliefs represented a balance among the powers of the gods in the sky, the underworld, and the earth that had persisted for years. Imagine it through the eyes of a wise person. The gods who had guided the people for centuries suddenly started being questioned. The roar of Perun, the dominion of Veles in the underworld, and the blessings of Mokosh, these divine powers, now had to make way for another faith. Sounds easy, right? But the truth is, this transition was anything but simple. Everything happened under the shadow of a deep struggle. There was a transformation, both spiritual and social. When Christianity first arrived in Slavic lands, it was a foreign and confusing process for a large part of the population. Having lived intertwined with nature, guided by gods, spirits, and shamans for thousands of years, these people now had to believe in a single god. However, the belief in many gods and finding power in every element of nature was so ingrained that this new religious system faced significant resistance. Churches were built, priests invited people to the new faith, but Veles' underworld still attracted many, and Perun's lightning continued to illuminate the sky. So how could such powerful gods be forgotten so easily? When Christianity stepped into Slavic lands, one of the greatest battles took place in the hearts of the people. How would the sermons of Jesus find a place against the roaring lightning of Perun? The Slavs had lived with their gods for centuries, feeling their power every moment. But over time, Christianity began to replace these ancient beliefs through both tolerance and forceful methods. The new belief system clashed not only with the gods but also with the social structure of the Slavs. Priests tried to take the place of shamans, while the church replaced the offerings made to the spirits of nature and the gods. But here's where the story gets interesting, because the Slavs didn't completely abandon their old beliefs. As Christianity spread through Slavic lands, the old gods and myths somehow became integrated into this new belief system. Perun, the god of the skies and thunder, somehow transformed into Saint Elijah. Saint Elijah was regarded as the master of the sky in Slavic Christianity. Christianity couldn't wipe out the Slavs' ancient beliefs. Instead, it incorporated them into its structure. The roaring voice of Perun became the heavenly power of Saint Elijah, and Veles' underworld was interpreted similarly to the concepts of the devil and hell in Christian beliefs. During the process of the Slavs' Christianization, traces of the old beliefs were not limited to just the gods. Traditions, rituals, and celebrations continued, blending with Christianity. Harvest celebrations transformed into Christian holidays, spring festivals became synonymous with Easter. All those rituals tied to the cycles of nature in Slavic mythology took on new meanings in Christianity. Some ancient rituals and customs were so strong that the church could not ban them and had to reinterpret them instead. The Slavic people continued to honor both their old gods and their new faith. During this period, the pressures imposed by the church and changes in the belief system deeply affected society. Priests took the place of shamans, and ancient sacred spaces were filled with churches. However, the people managed to keep the memory of their old gods and beliefs alive alongside this new faith. The transition to the new religion didn't happen overnight, rather. It shaped itself over centuries. The respect for the old gods gradually transformed into reverence for Christian saints, holy days, and celebrations. This transition was an important period that also shaped Slavic culture. With the influence of Christianity, the Slavic people embraced a new social order and moral structure while managing to preserve traces of their old beliefs and gods. The church fought against the old pagan traditions to speed up this transition, but in the memory of the people, Perun, Veles, and other gods always held a place. The Slavs' Christianization was not just a religious change, but a cultural evolution where the old and new intertwined. In this period, when the old myths and gods were not forgotten, people continued to live by merging their new beliefs with their ancient ones. This led to a unique structure in Slavic culture that embraced both the old pagan beliefs and the new Christian values. That's why the Slavs' transition to Christianity was not just a change in faith, but a story of deep cultural synthesis. And so, the lightning of Perun and Veles' dominion in the underworld came together with the powers of Christian saints in the sky and the underworld. The old gods were not completely forgotten, they continued to live on in different forms within the new belief system. The Slavic people witnessed an era where these two worlds converged. This was a new world order born from the deep roots of Slavic mythology, a reality that belonged to both the old and the new. Ah, my dear friends, I'm about to take you from the depths of the past into today's world and modern culture. Slavic mythology is not just a reflection of the past, it's a treasure that continues to thrive in our times. Throughout the flow of time, the stories of ancient beliefs and gods have come back to life in contemporary literature, art, and popular culture. After centuries of a long journey, this mystical and captivating mythology keeps finding a place in the imaginations of every generation. Just think about it, when the tales of the first Slavs echoed around the fire, those words truly came to life. Perun's thunder, Veles' underground magic, and Mokosh's blessings, all these figures are being revived in modern art and literature. Not just the stories, but these mythological characters have also become symbols of emotions, struggles, and the depths of the human spirit. Today, artists and writers are reinterpreting these legends, creating a bridge between the old and new worlds. Nowadays, the influence of Slavic mythology in modern culture is everywhere. For example, in the world of cinema, we can see scenes inspired by these ancient tales in many fantasy films and series. Gods that seemed forgotten for centuries suddenly appear on the silver screen. Perun's thunder leads characters to find their strength and courage. Maybe in one film scene, a hero's inner struggle is overflowing with Veles' spirit, or in a battle, a flash of lightning resonating in Perun's chest symbolizes the glimmer of victory. Moreover, the literary world is also drawing from Slavic mythology, offering readers fantastic stories. Writers take these ancient legends and rewrite them with their unique perspectives. In novels, poems, and stories, the tales of old gods and heroes are reawakening in the worlds inhabited by modern characters. The relationships between the gods and humans, the evolution of the people's beliefs, and the spirits of nature all create a captivating experience for readers. In the art world, the effects of Slavic mythology are also observable. Painters bring these ancient figures to life on canvas, offering viewers a chance to journey to another dimension. Especially the depths of nature and the human spirit intertwine with these legends and are reflected in the artworks. A person gazing at a painting might feel the presence of Veles' underground kingdom or sense Perun's power in the sky. All these works transport the viewer both to the mystique of the past and to the reality of today. In the modern gaming world, Slavic mythology continues to be an unforgettable source of inspiration. Game developers use legends and heroes to provide players with memorable experiences. Games that allow players to harness Perun's powers as a warrior to defeat enemies or access Veles' secrets capture the interest of the younger generation. In this context, ancient gods and spirits come back to life in players' imaginations, guiding their adventures. In conclusion, my dear friends, Slavic mythology is like a bridge that stretches from the depths of the past to today. The echoes of ancient beliefs and stories in modern culture showcase the universality of the human spirit. These mythological figures are not just a reflection of the past, they are also sources of inspiration for today and the future. Just like listening to stories from an ancient sage around the fire, we too lose ourselves in the magic of these age-old legends. In this place where the past and present converge, Slavic mythology continues to question the meaning of life and humanity. And remember, my friends, legends will always exist and continue to thrive. Ah, my dear friends, as we approach the end of this incredible journey, let's take one last deep dive into the enchanting world of Slavic mythology together. Today we've woven an intertwined story tracing the footprints of ancient gods and legends from the past. Each god, each legend, not only offered us a tale but also provided deep insights into the nature of humanity, beliefs, and the struggles of life. Think about it. In the eyes of the ancient Slavs, Perun's thunder wasn't just a natural event. It was a symbol of war and victory, a reflection of a tribe's courage and pride. On the other hand, Veles' underworld was both a source of fear and abundance. The cosmic battle between these two gods wasn't just about their conflict, it was also a symbol of nature's and life's struggle to find balance. Their stories should not be seen merely as myths. Instead, they serve as mirrors that deeply question humanity's inner conflicts and the meaning of existence. To my audience, as I shared the essence of each Slavic god and their legends, I hope these stories have illuminated your spirit like a light stretching from the depths of the past into today. The evolution of Slavic mythology reveals not just the traces of ancient beliefs, but also how these beliefs have come back to life in today's world. Their reflections in modern literature, art, and popular culture remind us of values we've forgotten. These ancient tales nourish the imagination of each generation, allowing us to look toward the future with hope. Now, as we ponder the depths and meanings these stories offer us, I want to emphasize once again how significant the rich culture and traditions of the Slavs are. The myths of the past are not merely entertainment, they are also a reflection of lived experiences and memories that resonate deep within our souls. Each legend presents a unique perspective, making us think while enriching our imagination. Lastly, my friends, I want to thank you all for accompanying me on this journey. It has been a great honor for me as a storyteller to share these legends with you. I hope that the friendships we've forged around this metaphorical fire will lead us to uncover the secrets of the past and carry this ancient wisdom into the future. Remember, there are always new stories and secrets to discover. We just need to keep our curiosity alive. I look forward to reuniting in our future stories. Until we come together again in the magical world of Slavic mythology, keep these tales in your minds and hearts. Farewell, my dear friends.